Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here with the last tournament of 08. Really excited to be playing 09. We will be playing Purple Luffy in 09, but unfortunately 09 games might take us some time to get started to get all the pieces we need because your boy is broke. So don't know how many pre-releases I'm going to be able to get into, and I have a box coming much later. So yeah, we'll do what we can and hopefully we can get this Purple Luffy deck going. But for the 08 deck here, the 08 match here, we end up taking a really aggressive swing from Uta, and he passes turn, and we have a majority of our queens in hand, which is great and terrible all at the same time. But we do decide to drop a Bon Clay and then poke 6 at life. We do have another Bon Clay, and that Bon Clay is literally like right in the glare. But, yeah, I mean, Bon Clay getting that ramp, really good. And honestly, in this match, Bon Clay made my opponent, since he didn't have removal, such as like a Lucci or something like that, it made it really hard for him to play bigger bodies. So, I do like Bon Clay. I think Bon Clay is a really good card. In general, I don't know if it's worth whatever it's sitting at now, but yeah, it's pretty good. So he ends up swinging 7, getting a 2K Sanji, and I go ahead and counter out thinking, okay, like he's probably going to drop the Uta blocker, but unfortunately for me, he does drop. I'm invincible, restands Uta, swings another 7, and I'm like, I cannot afford to take that hit. So we do end up getting Charlotte Linlin off of our life, which is pretty nice, because we are taking some pretty aggressive hits, so it is nice to have the option to heal coming up. So unfortunately, there's nothing we can put into his life yet, because he's not playing bodies because of the Bon Clay that is glared. So here is I would call it a little bit of a mistake, but it ended up working out. So I tap 7, I minus the Dawn, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play Onami, now I can cycle, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, I ramped to 8, minus, I'm still at 7. No Nami effect. Kind of a bummer, but getting 2 bodies out on board, including one of them being a blocker, pretty good. So we swing 6, and they do counter out, passing turn. And I'm definitely pretty nervous here. Not exactly sure what the new Uta runs. I know this is updated with a lot of the starter deck stuff. Haven't gotten the chance to play too much against it, but there is the starter deck, the new starter deck, Uta blocker, and yeah, then he just puts the rest on lead and swings, and I don't really want to go to 1 life, but I really don't want to dump my entire hand, so that's the whole reason we played that Onami there. And we're gonna be on our 9 Dawn turn, and we did get Kaido, so it's a tough choice choosing between Linlin and Kaido in this situation, but I think looking at my hand, looking at his hand, look how many cards he has in his hand, like, I'm stressed looking at that, but I'm thinking that 9 for Charlotte Linlin is the play, and we will go ahead and drop Linlin, and my dogs are playing, so sorry. I will go ahead and trash the Luffy Taro and put the Uta blocker at the bottom of life. The Uta blocker, counterless card. I really like to put counterless cards in life if I can. So we swing the 9, or we tap 9, and my opponent reminding me, you gotta -1 Dawn. My opponent, a true homie, so shout out to him. But yeah, we just poke 5, and he ends up taking, and I decide to poke 8 with Luffy Taro, just trying to get cards out of his hand. I want him to give me some cards out of hand, but he's thinking on this one. He's looking like he's gonna counter out, and then he just takes it. I'm like, how dare you? Just counter out. Give me some cards. Like, look how fat his hand is. It's crazy. I'm definitely feeling really stressed at this point. But I think the Bon Clay is a really good deterrent, and the fact that we have both Luffy Taro and the Charlotte Linlin on the board, both bodies are really big, and yes, he could play Shanks, and pop Luffy Taro, but we still have a big body, and this way we're still up at 9. So, or we're still basically maxed on. So, I think that was a good play. Speaking of good plays, 7 Dawn for the Luffy blocker, which is such a pain in the ass. And then he ends up dropping the Nami Searcher, and he's gonna search the top 3 cards for I think a film card, potentially a film or a straw hat. I can't remember. I think it's film. And yeah, he is looking for something good. Ends up getting, I'm not familiar with the event. I'll put a picture of the event up, which he grabs, taps 1. Oh, that's New Genesis. Never mind. He grabs New Genesis, doing a little search to get something. Grabbing the 2K Sanji, or 2K Chopper. It's a 2K. I think it's Chopper. I lied. The glare is glaring. So, restanding the Dawn for New Genesis, swinging 6. And he will go ahead and leader ability, getting, I believe that's another Nami. So we 2K out of the 6K swing, and he passes. And we get Magellan. Magellan, feeling a little too late at this point, if you ask me. We do have some options here. I'm thinking that our option is to drop Kaido and pop the Nami. I think just getting Nami off the field would be pretty good. Yeah, we have a couple options. So, yep, we go ahead and drop Kaido to pop Nami. I think that's the best play. I don't want him getting more cards in hand. Minusing 5 Dawn, 1 Dawn up. Still, we are going to go 8, copying the Luffy there. And yeah, now we have a really big board, a really scary board. Getting that big swing in with the Bon Clay, always nice. Swinging another 8. So we got 2 cards out of hand for the initial 8. And this turn, we are draining his hand. 3 cards out of hand for that 8. So that's pretty good. Swinging the 9. We are going to see what we can do. And they end up taking that hit. And swinging 10. Just trying to see. I have 4 cards in hand. 3K counter. Thankfully, I'm thinking there's nothing he can play that can kill me through 3 life. Oh, excuse me, so sorry. And he ends up taking this 10K, which was pretty surprising to me. And I just go poke a sneaky 5, and he blocks. Just wanted to see if he was paying attention. And he was. Smart man. So, he is at 10 Dawn now. It's a little scary. I don't have any blockers, but as I mentioned, I don't think there's much he can do to kill me. I guess if he had multiple I'm Invincibles, but I don't know what it is. I always forget about I'm Invincible when I am playing against Uta, which you would think by how often I get beat by the I'm Invincible swing that I would remember, but hey, you know, we're all learning, or at least I am constantly learning. So, I'd like to keep the not the Bon Clay, but I'd like to keep my board alive. I'd love to keep Bon Clay alive, but there's no way. Yeah, so he's going ahead, sorting out his Dawn, trying to figure out what he wants to do here. And I know that we talked after game, and he has a ton of cards in hand. So he's got a couple of options, and he's just trying to pick the best option, which is always so hard if you ask me. But he ends up just swinging 6 at Bon Clay, getting the New Genesis there, tapping 1 to play the New Genesis. I think that's what it's called, the Searcher event. If it's not New Genesis, feel free to laugh at me. Getting another 2K there, which we could tell after the last swing that he is in need of the 2Ks. With the remainder of his Dawn left, there are a couple of different options, things he can do. It looks like he's sorting his Dawn, trying to plan out. And dude, every time I look at his hand, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, that is so many cards in hand. That is an insane amount of cards in hand. And I haven't seen a single law. Like, I am begging to see a law. Yeah, no, we don't see laws. And I'm pretty sure I checked and I run 4, so very unlucky to not see a law. But we see our queens, so that's cool. But he's going to go ahead and tap 4 of his Dawn, it looks like. Just really thinking through his plays. I know later we will be fast forwarding some of it. To drop the Brook into Uta blocker, the 3-cost Uta blocker. Really annoying blocker, that Uta. Because what she does, if you don't know, she's from the original Uta Green starter deck. She lets you re-stand a film character if you trash a film card, I believe. Very annoying to deal with. Because you think, hey, he swung with Luffy, I'm going in, and yeah, you just can't. So yeah, this scared me so bad. He swings a giant Luffy swing at, I believe he's going into one of my bigger bodies. And yeah, it's definitely stressful. It's so hard. I think one of the hardest things about this game is knowing when to counter to save a body and when to let it go. Maybe it's one of the hardest things because I'm a noob, but yeah. So he's swinging into my Charlotte Linlin, and I love Charlotte Linlin, but she's got to go. I can't dump my entire hand for that. And Uta ability it lets you trash an event, excuse me. So he trashes an event and passes turn. So we get an Onami, which is not great. But thankfully, I'm thinking we can drop a queen and get some cycle, hopefully draw into something we can use with the amount of Dawn we have. So, yeah, I'm thinking out of all the Dawn out of all our options, dropping the blocker queen is probably the most beneficial to us, which gives us 2 more Dawn to work with. So we are going to go swing 8 at life, just trying to poke, see what we can do. And we do end up getting 2 cards out of hand, a 10 at life. I was really hoping to get the blocker Luffy out of the way, but with the 10 he ends up trashing the blocker Uta, which is fine, and we swing 7. I think this worked out really well because everything was swinging higher than the Luffy blocker, so this attack meets, and he is gonna rest and counter 1, so I take that as a win. We go ahead and drop queen, minusing a Dawn to get 2, and we get a Kaido, which I'm like, okay, goodbye Magellan. We have another Kaido. When we get to 9, we can drop this Kaido. Like, this is not having another Kaido in hand at this point in the game, I think is way more beneficial than having a Magellan in hand. He's already at 10 Dawn. Magellan's not going to do anything to his curve, which is the bummer about Magellan. I love Magellan. I especially love the alt arts I have, but I completely understand why he's getting mostly dropped in 05, Jesus Christ, 09. There's just way too many better options, I think, with Magellan, or with 09, like Gum Gum, Giant, and Rush Sanji, and just everything new that's coming out. I'm so excited. As I said earlier, I'm going to try my best to get those cards quickly, but your boy is broke, so I'm going to do my best. Hey, if you want, I do have memberships. If you want to get something and financially help me out and get yourself a nice treat, I do make custom playmats. Link is always in the description below. Make custom playmats for One Piece and Union Arena. But I'll shut up now. Back to the game. Yeah, I'm so excited for 09 Luffy. We did that video, and he was just really fun, but my opponent is taking his time to think, so I'll go ahead and speed it up until he makes his choice. Alright, so he is gonna attach 3 Dawn and swing with Luffy at my Luffy Taro, and I want to keep as many bodies on board as I can. Worst case scenario, I'm getting cards out of his hand, so I give him the Frenosuke and a Bon Clay to keep that Luffy up. With only 3 cards in my hand, I am hoping that he his hand size gets lower and lower, so we can ideally just keep minimizing that hand and push for game. But yeah, I mean, he's taking his time to think of his turns, and I should probably take note. I definitely think I don't think through my turns as much as I probably should. I think that's one of the things I struggle with the most in this game, and I think that it would be very beneficial to me if I slow down. But what can I say? I'm a Sonic fan, you know? Gotta go fast. No, I don't know. There's something about playing fast that makes brain go burst, so I feel like I have to play fast. But yeah, I digress. Once again, oh, wait, there we go. So he's going to do potentially another massive swing into a character. He's really thinking about it, and I don't blame him. This game is really close. Just being able to ramp up and get those large bodies on board really helped me out. And I feel like because this deck doesn't have great removal like black or even blue, there was not much he could do about the Bon Clay. So I think that the Bon Clay, I feel like it was honestly like a really good deterrent to dropping, bigger bodies. And because if you can't get rid of him, you drop Shanks, I'm swinging that Shanks back at you, and that is a big card. So looks like he is gonna put 3 onto Brook. He's thinking about it. Yeah, and he will. And let's see where he decides to swing the 6, 7, 8. I think he might go 8 into Luffy. Yep, he goes 8 into Luffy, and I'm thinking he's gonna go 8 into Luffy, 9 into Luffy. So I'm gonna give him. I'm thinking it through. I'm trying to figure out, do I let him go? I do let him go. Just thinking that I should keep my my health up. He ends up swinging 6 at me, and I take it, getting a 2K, which is great. He taps the 3 Dawn to play the Uta, trashing another event and restanding Luffy. So that turn, honestly, pretty much a bummer for me, if you ask. But we did keep our queen on board, and we are at a good amount of Dawns, so there is a chance. I'm thinking we just play it slow. We keep cycling. We keep going for game here, and yeah, just trying to figure out what my options are. I'm thinking at this point I don't have enough to play Sanji for a small amount, but hey, that doesn't matter because I'm going on the aggressive. I go ahead and ramp, take it, going to Kaido, popping the Uta blocker. I just totally spaced on her name. We go ahead and swing 10 with the Kaido, and we swing another 10 with the Kaido. And here, I think I make a pretty good judgment call. So he ends up blocking with the Luffy, which is great. We finally got rid of that Luffy. And while I am really tempted here, I spend a lot of time thinking because I'm like, I want to go for lethal. But looking at the cards he has in his hands, and like, I know he has a 2K. So he has no life. He has no blocker. I'm just going to go 5 at the Brook just to get a card out of hand. And we're going to pass. And I have a decent amount of counter. I have a blocker up. I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling great, but I'm feeling okay. I don't think that there's anything besides Hody. I think if he's running Hody, he can drop a Hody, which would be pretty unfortunate. So he's asking how many cards I have in hand, and yeah, definitely feeling a little stressed out if he's playing the Hody. He goes ahead and New Genesis is looking for, I think he might be looking for I'm Invincible, but I know he's used 2 of them at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I knew at this point in the game, I knew he had used a good amount of his I'm Invincibles. So I wasn't super worried about getting I'm Invincible, if you will. So he ends up grabbing the backlight, which is going to arrest my queen, which I'm like, oh no, like that's not good. Depending on how he swings here, he can absolutely get the game here. So yeah, tapping 2 to play the backlight to rest my queen. Thankfully, I have 2K Sanjis in hand. I mean, all counters. So it looks like he's splitting up his Dawn and gonna swing 9 at lead and another 9. So I am deciding on if I want to take this one or not. And we get another 2K. So just really lucky there. So we go 9, 10, basically securing the game. And yeah, so he ends up folding there. Pretty close game, honestly. I think I could have played it a little differently. I will say I feel like Bon Clay was the absolute GOAT in this game. Getting that aggressive ramp and then having him be such a deterrent for my opponent to drop his bigger bodies. Really solid. But man, every time I play Purple Luffy, I just love this deck. Yeah, it's very fun. I'm a big fan. I'm so excited to take it in the 09. But yeah, we got about 1 or 2 more Purple Luffy matches, and then we'll probably be on the sim until I can get my hands on the cards I need to update Luffy for 09. But that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.